where technically you have to be 21, partying and wearing very provocative clothes and dating much older men and putting on a big show for everyone.
By 1998, 17-year-old Paris wanted to be more than a Manhattan social fixture and party girl. The fashion-obsessed teen had set her sights on becoming a model and an actress.
Paris was always interested in fashion and was around modeling. From the time she was a little girl, would go to benefits, fundraisers, regular fashion shows with her mom. She actually would even, walk the runway.
When she was 16 or 17, wanted to start modeling, and my parents were like, no, 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 and Paris would not take no for an answer.
The first time Paris came up here, she was in her crazy low-cut jeans and stomach-bearing little tank top with some rhinestone jewelry on and big sunglasses with her little dog. I was like, oh wow, okay, Paris is here. And but she's always in a rush, and put the clothes on, but then just loved trying on the clothes. And this was really fun to see a model who was so into the clothes and just loved wearing them. She has the perfect model body. Those really long legs, beautiful torso, just the perfect shape that make clothes look really great. Paris has a very unique walk. It's almost slightly gawky, but then she picks it up with a little sexy touch. And then she has a way of moving her head from side to side, sort of cocking it and finding the right light that just hits her face properly. It's great to watch, she's a performer.
No one sasses down a runway better than Paris. She just owns it. Early on, when she was just getting to be known, people would go to a fashion show and they'd say, oh, there's Paris Hilton here. And then they'd watch her and they'd say, well, at least she can model like nobody's business.
The press, the photographers who covered from the beginning, figured this one girl, and I went, why? She's magic. It happens on camera. The vivacity, the vitality, the exuberance, the beauty.
Paris was definitely controversial right from the beginning because people thought, oh, well, she's got all the advantage in the world. She's a rich girl and, she can become a model just like that. But it's not true. You may get through the door, but you got to deliver.
The 19-year-old was hungry to push her fame to the next level, and she wasn't afraid to shock in order to succeed. Without her parents' knowledge, Paris posed with Nikki in an 11-page photo spread in Vanity Fair, wearing a necklace that said it all. The nearly topless heiress made obscene gestures at the camera in photos taken inside her grandmother's stately Beverly Hills mansion.
They became known as the nipple shots. I mean, these were see-through clothing, they're basically naked, and it was extremely provocative. And mind you, very calculated.
When it was coming out, she was really nervous. She was scared about what Kathy and Rick and what my mom were gonna say because she knew they were not gonna be happy. And this whole big thing snowballed.
Immediately, that comes out, they're in the New York Post, they're in the New York Daily News, Us Weekly, they're in People magazine.
As the party-hopping pair became more and more famous, the girl Vanity Fair called a hip-hop Deb reveled in her image as a society bad girl.
They'd go to parties and overtake the actual Hollywood celebrities, and because they would be dancing and acting crazy, and they were dressing more provocative, sexier, and just more fashionable. They had socially inserted themselves into this whole milieu in Hollywood, and I think they really created a new form of celebrity by doing it.
Thank you, Paris. You're a doll. Thank you. We're your fan club.
By 2001, 20-year-old Paris Hilton felt ready to transition from modeling to movie acting. But for the paparazzi that followed her every move, Paris's best performances were the ones she gave in nightclubs from New York to Hollywood.
Paris was one of the original table dancers where there's not a lot of room on the dance floor. People would just start climbing on top of tables and dancing.
Tabloids linked her romantically with a long line of partners. Model Jason Shaw, entrepreneur Rick Solomon, actors Edward Furlong and Leonardo DiCaprio.
Let's just say that Paris Hilton has taken the romantic Hollywood embrace and made it damn near X-rated and gotten away with it in public.
There's been a couple of brawls with some other women who felt that she was flirting with their boyfriends, or their boyfriends were paying too much attention to her.
If she doesn't like someone, she'll tell you she doesn't like somebody. She's a very honest person, actually. And yeah, she got into fights with people. There was a well-reported cat fight with Shannon Doherty.
It never fails. There's some stupid-ass schmuck who's at the heart of a little cat fight, often between two gals, Shannon Doherty and Paris Hilton, all over Rick Solomon. What are they both thinking?
Paris drove home. She was out in LA at the time. She drove up into the Hollywood Hills, and a few hours later, her vehicle had been smeared with grease and the paint, and she wasn't even able to identify some of the messy stuff that was poured all over her car. And I thought the funny part was that instead of trying to clean the car off, she just like abandoned it there. The cops finally towed it away.
I don't think too much love is lost between Shannon Doherty and Paris Hilton, although on the record they say they're great friends, and I'm a natural blonde.
Paris's life constantly made headlines, like the celebration of her 21st birthday in 5 different cities. But the heiress hadn't achieved the kind of fame she wanted most. After a few minor movie parts in films like Sweetie Pie and Zoolander, Hilton's ambitions to become an actress seemed to have hit a dead end. Then, in December of 2002, one phone call changed everything. The Fox television network wanted Paris and Nikki to star in their own reality series. It would be called The Simple Life. The girls would play versions of themselves, spoiled heiresses forced to do local jobs while living with a family in a small town in the Ozarks, far from the trappings of wealth. Paris liked the idea, but Nikki said no.
My mother and I were 2 people when Paris was preparing to do The Simple Life. We're like, you cannot do this. Like, don't do a reality television show, Paris. They're silly. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Nikki's definitely the more conservative one. Nikki's more the socialite apparent. Also beautiful, also sexy, but in a sort of a calmer way, more subdued. Paris definitely just soaks up the spotlight and almost sort of demands attention.
To replace Nikki, Fox chose Nicole Richie, the wealthy daughter of singer Lionel Richie, and a friend of Paris's since childhood.
They were just good friends when they were very young, and Lionel was one of the people who came by Rick and Kathy's house, and there we are, a match made in heaven.
In the spring of 2003, Paris and Nicole began their 4-week stay in Altus, Arkansas, population 817. Accompanied by Hilton's Chihuahua, Tinkerbell, the girls moved in with the 7 members of the local Letting family.
We had never heard anything about Paris before she ever came. I didn't even know who she was.
Oh my God.
Hi.
Hey, I'm Janet. Hey.
Tinkerbell.
Oh.
I'm Albert. Hey, Albert. Paris.
I don't know how they dress out in LA if everybody dresses like that.
Well, their clothing is a little different than what most girls wear around here.
This just may be what they're accustomed to.
Skimpy.
Paris's first reaction to the home was pretty much, where have they stuffed me? Because I don't think she was real impressed with what we had.
I don't think she was impressed at all with anything we had. Watch the place and don't step on the well.
What?
There's a well.
A real well?
Yeah, it's a real well.
What are wells for?
To get water. She was looking for more than one bathroom. She had no clue what a well was.
For 1 month, Paris and Nicole were given the most unlikely jobs they'd ever faced. From pumping gas, to cooking, to counting fishing worms.
Paris went to a dairy farm at Denny Council's house, and she had to milk cows, help milk the cows and feed them and everything.
I assume you've never milked a cow before.
No.
Paris, grab a towel. Don't kid.
I'm never drinking milk again. Ever again. Are you drinking milk ever again? No. I'm never eating hamburger again either.
And she worked at Sonic. She has a car hop. And delivered the food and cooked the food and stuff.
We're gonna set this up here and you're gonna go up there and take those letters down and put the new ones up.
What do we have to spell?
Gonna say half price burgers all day.